let's talk about a bizarre scenario where this could be dumb, right? Let's say you are a John Smith and you get a Jordanian citizenship and you suddenly become Ali Muhammad, right, or something.
But why abandon a name that's been around for 100 years? Not Turkey is what the Turkish government wants you to call the country. Some say the change is to distance the country from links to the bird.
So there's really horrible advice regarding name change on a new passport that's floating around the internet. Wanted to explain this in a lot of detail. Is it a wise idea? Not a wise idea? Can it be done? Absolutely, it can be done, and there's nothing wrong in it, right? As long as you're following the rules. So I'm going to deep dive into this topic in a lot of detail. Before we get started, do one thing real quick. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you're always updated on any latest breakthroughs within the RCBI domain, and turn on that bell notification as well. All right, let's say you're getting a new passport. There are various ways in which you can obtain a passport. You can quickly obtain a new citizenship through the residencies. There are a lot of residencies which are quite flexible. So you can do one of those and then obtain your citizenship. The second way is obviously you can outright purchase the passport. You can do donations, and in as quickly as extreme cases, 4 weeks to, let's say, 6 months to 8 months to up to a year, you can actually obtain a citizenship by investment, and you can obtain a new nationality, new passport. That's the second way. Then obviously you have family situations. You have a child in a country. Let's say you're married to someone who comes from a certain country that provides quick citizenship. So you have the third route as well, and there are other avenues open as well. So once you acquire this new nationality, this is a security, right? This is a plan B nationality. You have your primary nationality, and then you're collecting multiple citizenships. More citizenships is always the better. Rare cases, rare countries, sanctioned countries, you want to be away from any of those type of citizenships, as those can backfire. But generally speaking, good citizenships, high quality citizenships, more is always better. The big question here is, can you legally change your name on one of your passports? Is that beneficial? What are the cases in which that's beneficial? Where can that backfire? Is it legal, not legal? Is it a good thing to do or not to do? Now, there's a lot of opportunistic YouTubers, a lot of popular ones that give really horrible advice. They say it's a dumb idea to change your name on a new passport or with a new citizenship. Well, that is the dumbest piece of advice that I have seen, because not because of the advice itself, but because of not explaining why the person thinks it's a dumb idea. All right. Now, when you acquire, let's take some examples, right? Always like to reference examples when I'm talking about this stuff. Let's take the example of the Turkish citizenship. Now, you can have a Turkish name legally. Now, a citizenship is a bond between the individual and the country. When you're being a citizen of a country, it does not care about what other citizenships you have. It's a direct connection, a direct commitment and loyalty that you have towards your country, and the country gives you the benefits of being a citizen. You can vote in the country, you can obtain the passport, and then you can freely travel the world using that nationality. Now, let's take an example of Turkey. A lot of people are interested in the Turkish CBI. One of the biggest opportunities with the Turkish CBI is that you can have a Turkish name, and it's perfectly fine. It's a cultural thing. When you're getting a citizenship, it's not a joke. You are accepting their culture, their tradition, and a whole lot of stuff. So you get the benefits, you believe in it, and you want to take advantage. So assuming a Turkish name depends upon your objective, right? So if you are using the native script, let's say you're using the Turkish script to write your name exactly as it is, then it's not a name change. You're using the local alphabet, right? It's not necessary that your name has to be in the English language. It could be in the local language of that country. So that's perfectly fine. You're not doing anything illegal, anything wrong. Now, when I'm talking about all this stuff, this is not immigration or legal advice. This is common sense that I'm talking about. So in that example, you, let's say, become a Turkish citizen. You're assuming a Turkish name. Maybe it's not a complete name change. It's your name translated in, let's say, the Turkish alphabet. Now, that's not a name change. That is obviously using your country's language to update your travel document, which is perfectly fine. It's perfectly sound. As long as it's legal in your home country, it's perfectly okay. In the second example, let's talk about the Greek citizenship. Right? Let's say you're assuming a Greek citizenship. The Greek has its own native alphabet. Your name might be written or spelled in the Greek language differently. It's perfectly fine. Similarly, you have the Jordanian CBI, one of the best CBIs that are out there. The passport itself is not strong. So if you're looking for a strong passport, that is not the scenario that I'm talking about. Assuming you have a decent passport in your portfolio and you're adding a Plan B security option, then Jordan stands out number one, according to me, when it comes to Plan B security. I'm not talking about just having the Jordanian citizenship. A lot of local Jordanians jump and say how bad Jordan is. That's a different scenario. Here we are talking about having the Jordanian nationality as a Plan B nationality, not to leave your home country and start living in Jordan. So let's say you're getting a Jordanian citizenship, your name is spelled differently or your name is translated in the Jordanian language differently. It's a perfectly legal scenario. You're not changing your name. Now, this is straightforward, common sense stuff. A lot of people can do this very freely, very legally. And again, not legal advice. Now, let's talk about a bizarre scenario where this could be dumb. Right? Let's say you are a John Smith and you get a Jordanian citizenship and you suddenly become Ali Muhammad, right? Or something. That is going to sound and look stupid, and that will create red flags and you'll attract a lot of questions. I'm not saying necessarily that's illegal or anything, but then you will have to maintain consistency. You'll have to have the same name across all your other passports. Otherwise, there would be questions and all of those kind of things. Now, let's understand this in some detail. What happens when you travel? Now, when you're traveling, when you're entering new countries, when you're setting up new residencies, you go by your biometrics, right? They scan your fingers, they obtain your biometrics. In some countries, it's the thumb. In some countries, it's the 4 fingers. In some countries, it's the 10 fingers, right? So you are providing your biometrics. You are identified by your biometrics. In this new complex world, countries don't rely on names because people might have different variations of names. In some Asian countries, they have 3 or 4 different set of names spelled all in different way. So it can get confusing, it can get complicated. Date of births, names could be the same, but when you talk about biometrics, they're not the same. So they go by the whole biometrics theory. So your name becomes irrelevant. So let's say you are traveling to a country on a certain nationality. Let's say you obtain a Turkish passport. The third country that you're traveling to doesn't care about your other citizenships. All that they care about is the passport that you're presenting to enter the country. So let's say your name is what it is. It's consistent across different travel documents and you're entering that country using a Turkish nationality, then they're accepting a Turkish person. It's very, very simple. They can collect your biometrics, they identify who you are, and you are in that country. That country may not care about what other citizenships that you might have. There are certain countries that care about other citizenships and they will ask you and they will want to get that information. So that is a different scenario. But let's say the country doesn't care about your other nationalities, then you can obviously legally use your single passport that you want to present and you can enter the country with whatever name you have. It does not matter because anyways you'll be tracked by your biometrics in most of the cases when you're entering in as a temporary resident. Or if you're getting the permanent residency, they will have already captured your biometrics. They can easily verify you with that information. Now, if you have a bizarre name change, right? Let's say you're John Smith and you present yourself as an Ali Muhammad. When you do your biometrics in their system, if they detect that you have already entered as a John Smith, now you're trying to do the whole Ali Muhammad stuff, just because your name is different, it's not going to make any difference to them, right? They're going anyways tracking you with your biometrics. So they're going to get confused. They're going to ask you, what the hell is up with you? Why have you done this, right? On the contrary, let's say you're still John Smith, but your name is spelled in a different alphabet. You have an opportunity to explain what's going on. It's the same name. It's maybe spelled in a different alphabet. And that's fairly logical. It's common sense. And it does not make any difference eventually. What I feel about this whole topic is that the name change is irrelevant. If you think you're going to change your name and if that's going to be useful, I don't see any reason why that is of any good to anyone. It can only create confusion and chaos. It does not solve any problem, because eventually it's all about the biometrics these days, and moving into the future, your identity is going to be defined by your biometrics, not by your name, not by a DOB. Those are variables, not the DOB, but the name could be a variable in this exceedingly complex world. Now, if you are looking to get started with your second passport, your second citizenship, your third, your fourth, your fifth, or whichever number of passport that you're looking to seek, there are so many great options around the world through flexible residencies. You can always click that link in the description, book a call with us. We can discuss what is the best next citizenship in your circumstances and easily get you started with the option of your choice. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you don't miss out on any new options that come out. And until next time, you take care and goodbye.